There are things that I have been able to study over the time that I believe we are going to share tonight in this discourse. To others it's in the morning, to others it's midday. But we are going to be sharing something that I feel like it's very pivotal and it's very critical and very important in your journey of creating wealth. This is something that I have learned over the years myself, and it has helped me to become who I am, and I've seen it also helping other great people or great leaders to become who they are. So I urge you to take notes. I urge you to listen very attentively. I know where we are now in this world, we have so many things that are demanding our attention, and those things cease not to stop. But I'll show you something that I feel like it's very important, and it's good for you to know, it's good for you to learn, and it's good for you to be able to comprehend. We live in a time and an age where there is a lot of voices that are speaking or that are seeking or that are competing for our attention. And many times most people, they don't realize that their attention is what other institutions require for them to be able to make money or generate money. And I'll give you a very good example. Do you know, most people, they believe and they think when they are on Instagram, besides the data, when they are on Instagram, on WhatsApp, or maybe probably on Google, or maybe probably, I'll give you an example of TikTok. They think everything that's happening there is free besides the data or the data that you've paid for to your network provider. But let me take this wonderful opportunity to show you something that's happening right there. You are the product that is being consumed by the application called TikTok. So everything that you see happening there, you wonder how they make money, and you also wonder, why is it for free? It is because your eyes have not been illuminated, enlightenment has not been given to you, which I'll give to you today, so that you can start to understand what's really happening. Is it really free, or there is a price that is being paid by you, the consumer of TikTok, and you're the one that I'm talking to today? So you see what's happening there. You are the product that TikTok is consuming. And how does that work, someone might ask? The moment you sign up on TikTok and the moment you start using TikTok, I'm not saying it's wrong, I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just trying to show you how money is being made by the channel and how money is being made by a system. And probably you're the only thing within that equation or that formula that is not benefiting from whatever that is happening there, besides creating content and being satisfied by the content, having followers and having engagement with people that are probably within or that are not within your proximity. So you see, what happens is the moment you sign up and the moment you're scrolling on the WhatsApp and the moment you're scrolling on the TikTok, let's say I'm sitting here and I'm scrolling on TikTok, I'm busy on TikTok, I'm using TikTok and I'm scrolling on TikTok. This is what's happening. You are giving them your attention and your time. That's how you are paying, and that's how they are consuming you. So consider how many subscribers does that application has globally. So they are running into millions and millions of subscribers, and people are now very addictive to their phones. People are now it's believed that a normal human being, can touch his or her phone more than 2,000 to 2,500 times a day. And then there are others who are actually extreme that can go as far as 7,000 times a day holding your mobile phone. So look what's happening. You're holding your phone, you're scrolling and you're uploading content, and you're also watching other people's content. Your attention, you are giving attention to the platform. You are exchanging your satisfaction by using the application, and you're providing them with attention and you're providing them with your time. And this is what's happening. They will compile that database as a company, as an application, And after they compile that database, they then go and present it to different companies, different institutions, and they will say, look, we have a database of millions upon millions of users. And these million upon millions of users, they include you who's listening to me today. And they say, if you want to advertise anything on our platform, you are guaranteed, because look at the numbers, look at the subscribers, look at the time that, probably an average time that any subscriber uses on their platform. So they quantify your attention, they categorize your attention, they compile it into a data. And when they compile it into a data package, they go with that data package and present to different institutions. Henceforth, you see, when you're using TikTok, there are so many adverts that are coming there. So as a company, they are now making money. And as an institution, they are now generating loads and tons of revenue. But you're the only person in that equation who's not getting paid. I want to awaken you today so that you can start to observe that which is happening around you. When you observe that which is happening around you, you are going to realize that probably you are the only person in the equation who's not getting paid. Someone might say, maybe it's good for me because it's social interaction. I'm taking my time off the busy schedule of life, and I'm trying to also at least soothe my mind, relax my mind. And when I'm going on these applications, when I'm doing all these things, it's just the same as watching TV, watching news. We are consuming information. We are consuming what they are propelling to add towards us. I call it mass media. And you see, I'll show you something that is very unique, or that is very unfamiliar. Do you know that since the day we were born, we started walking on a journey of being conformed to become conformants, and we are being termed and imprisoned, and we are being padlocked mentally to reason a certain way, to think a certain way, to act in a certain way, because this is my perspective. I want to give you this perspective because the moment you start seeing the world from this perspective, you are better strategically positioned to conquer whatever systems that are there to manipulate you and to exploit you of your potential and your talent. And you can at least be ahead of the system. Henceforth, it's very important for you to listen to me very carefully. So there's a vocabulary that we were handed over to. The language that we are talking, or the language that I'm using right now to communicate with you, it was not a language I had. There was a language I had when I was a toddler. There was a language you had when you were a toddler. And there was a way you would cry, and the mother and the people environment around you were able to decode and pick what you're trying to communicate without saying any word. But because we woke up, or we were given birth into a system that was already in existence, they had already created a vocabulary which they started to teach us. The moment they started to teach us, educate us, that's the moment, according to me, in my own perspective, that's the moment we started we started going on a journey of being turned and conformed. You know, there's something that they call antisocial. Being antisocial is a vocabulary that we were taught, that when you become antisocial, you are not good for the society. But you know that it is being a solitude that gives birth to brilliant ideas. I've never seen any inventor who had many friends. Most people who advanced the civilization of humanity, they were loners. Look at Einstein, look at Thomas Edison, look at Nikola Tesla, look at Leonardo da Vinci. It's as if the more people become solitude, the more people become loners. I'm not promoting being a loner, but I enjoy being in my own space, because it is those solitude moments I give birth to things that can change my exterior or my ulterior environment. So you realize that I've realized something. I believe I've always been ahead of my time, personally. To the extent that most people, when they hear me speak or when they hear me talk, they can comprehend the fact that I'm a 30-year-old because of the things that I've seen in my moments of solitudeness, in my moments of being alone, in my moments of being away from the congestion and away from the multitude of voices that are trying to grab my attention. It is in those moments I've always found things that are meaningful. And I'll show you something. You see, when you become a person who takes time to self-introspect, look into yourself, and you look at the world around you, you analyze it without the contamination of the information that you have been given. Your perspective about things is totally different. And I believe we are living in a moment and we are living in an era where it was recognized that the most intelligent thing under the sun or on the face of the earth was the human being. Henceforth, we were able to control everything that is around us. But that is about to change. And I'll show you the reason why you need to understand, and please listen to me very carefully so that you can be able to understand, grasp what I am sharing with you in this discourse. If you're ever going to make money, if you're ever going to become economically powerful, and if you're ever going to be a person who creates wealth for yourself, your loved ones, and the generations that are going to come after you, listen to me very carefully. You have to be ahead of your time, and you have to be ahead of the knowledge and information gap. It is only a person who is ahead of his time in knowledge, wisdom, and information that can be able to make decisions consulting the future and then come back to reality and start to move pieces or establish establishments, or create institutions, or make up inventions, or come up with ideas that are going to be aligned with the future you are coming from, and humanity right now in their reality, they don't even request, or they don't even know that they are going to be in need of that particular thing that you have seen in the future. So be a person who is able to migrate to the future. When you migrate to the future and you're able to diagnose things in the future that are going to be problematic to the humanity that is ignorant of what's going to be happening in the future. So the moment you are ahead of your neighbor and you know things that your neighbor does not know, you are better positioned, you are in an advantageous position to make money by creating something that your neighbor is ignorant or not aware that they are going to need. What am I talking about? This is the mystery behind the biggest corporations that you can ever talk about. The JP Morgans, the Carnegies, the Medici family, the Ford family, the Elon Musk of the day, the Bill Gates, the Warren Buffett, the Jack Ma, the Jeff Bezos. All these guys were ahead of their time, and it was that mentality that they had, which was ahead of their time, that made them to be able to conquer the world we live in right now. And right now, because they were able to be ahead of us in creating what they call Microsoft, they were ahead of us in creating a platform called Amazon. They were ahead of us in creating something that they call Tesla, something that they call Neuralink, something that they call SpaceX. Right now, Elon Musk is busy spending billions upon billions trying to find a way of making sure a car or an automobile becomes autonomous. He's making sure, he's trying to find a way to make sure rockets that go to space are affordable the same way our flights are now affordable, that we are now jet setting everywhere, going everywhere around the globe. There is a time when a plane was invented. The tickets were unaffordable to a normal civilian. But because of the availability of the technology, it became cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. The same way, people are now able to migrate from South Africa to Dubai, from Dubai to America, from America to Brazil, from Brazil to China, China to India, India to Russia. The same way now we have a wide network in aviation, whereby right now there are thousands upon thousands of planes that are in the sky right now. There is a time it was not possible. But those that were able to make money with the aviation industry were those that were ahead of the curve. Number one, in invention. Number two, in embracing the invention and accepting the invention when everyone else was saying it was dangerous. The people that made money and the people that are still making money out of that industry are the people that went a step further in trying to understand, study, and execute. So, I'm trying to show you the reason why you don't have the money that you desire to have. It's simply because you have not invested yourself into knowing things that are demanded by humanity in their future that you can be able to provide. It might be a service. It might be a product. It might be certain piece of knowledge, advice, or wisdom that is going to be required by multitudes of humans so that they can be able to live their lives in a normal way according to their understanding of the world around them. So look, remember I said, there was a time when electricity was a wonder. There was a time when this internet that we have right now, I'm communicating with you virtually. Within this atmosphere, there is what they call the bandwidth that is making me able to transmit my visual image and my voice to someone who's watching me right now in Poland, to Tyrese who's watching me in New Zealand, to Tama who's watching me in South Africa, to Tino who's watching me in China, to Bright who's watching me right now in Australia. We are in different time zones, but it was this invention that has furthered the execution of humanity to the extent that right now I'm sitting in front of these cameras and my image is being captured at a speed that you cannot even comprehend, to the point that it's almost exact. My voice, my image, my gestures, my movements are being translated into a video that you are able to see me, listen to me right now. There is a time when this was not possible. There is a time when this was impossible. There is a time when a person who created this invention or who came up with this idea shared the idea, but the world was not ready and prepared to hear him. But here we are today. So by nature, as humans, we are progressive. But there's something that I've realized over the years of my study and trying to understand. Do you know, it's as if we are too dumb as humanity, to the point that whatever that we have called civilization, according to me, it's an exposure over time of how foolish and how dumb and how unintelligent we are. Simply because humanity fails to align itself with the ideas that God carries. We are misaligned with the Creator who created us. I dare to show you something today. With where we are, I remember the civilization that we saw in the 19s, the 1800s, was a product of human labor, slavery system. It was a civilization championed by humans. But right now where we are, I can boldly say we are now getting into an era or into a phase or into a revolution whereby industrialization is going to be championed by robots and artificial intelligence. We have gone into a phase where that which humanity was able to do, now we have human inventions that can replace what we can do. And this is the reason why I want you to listen to me very carefully in this discourse. Remember, I said we used to be the most intelligent being on earth. But we've got into a generation which we are now in the sunrise of something called artificial intelligence. Only 3 months ago, 4 months ago, they launched it to the public. So most people have familiarized and we've managed to see what artificial intelligence is capable of doing. They have connected ChatGPT to a database of information and knowledge, and it is riding upon the electrons of the internet to be able to feed into the database of knowledge that has been created over time and over years. And within a split second, you ask anything. You talk like you're talking to a human being, and it can write you a poem that is so convincing. It now has, you see, this is what I want you to listen to me and understand. It's a sad moment in as much as it is also an exciting moment. We are living in an era where we are going to see puzzling inventions, catastrophic things that are going to be done by what we are creating as human beings. As human beings, we have been able to create something that is more intelligent than us, more efficient than us. And this thing is going to replace that which we could do in a more efficient way, more faster way, less errors, according to what they are telling us. And according to statistics, they are predicting that only in the Eastern world, more than 300 million to 400 million jobs are going to be lost to artificial intelligence. Remember, in the filming industry, there was a time when if they wanted to have an aerial view, there was need of a helicopter, there was need of a pilot, there was need of a cameraman, there was need of a camera, big camera. But because of the advancement of technology, in as much as it is making it easy, but now they just need a drone operator. That drone has replaced the helicopter, it has replaced the pilot, it has replaced the videographer. Now it's one thing being done by one person. In mining sector, there are places, there are mines right now in Australia where they've gone deep, so deep. Here in Africa, we've got Tautona, one of the deepest mines. The levels of heat that miners are now experiencing, they are inhabitable. You can't comprehend that heat. But because humans, by nature, we are industrialists and we are innovative, now there are mines whereby there is no human who gets into the pits. Equipment is getting into the pits controlled by people who are on the surface. And right now, because of artificial intelligence, now we are getting to a point whereby there is no need of a human being to control that equipment. Now, an artificial intelligent system, software, or a robot can replace the human being, can control the machine, can go and do extraction and be able to bring out the results in a more efficient way, more than humans could. In as much as we also have human error, also don't forget we have got digital errors, software errors. What will happen when there is a software error in a gadget, a software, a system, a robot that has got access to the global database? What if something happens? And I know right now they are trying to come up with so many different methods of trying to say, okay, maybe if something goes wrong, we can switch it off from electricity. We can turn it and shut it down from the internet. Listen to me. According to my mind, the way I have studied nature, which I believe every intelligent man should invest time in the study of nature and how the ultimate deity, God, created this universe. Whatever we call empty space, according to me, it's only empty space to us people who are not awakened enough to understand and interpret the matter. But if humans are to focus clearly, you shall realize that around us, we are surrounded by a matter of energy, which in a very near future, electricity shall cease to be transferred by wires. We are going to get into a system or into an environment whereby human apparatus are going to be operated from a source of energy which is not these common source of energies we know, your coal, your gas, your lithium, your cobalt, and I can even show you how we will get there. Remember, we have got to an era where they are talking about climate change. The same way they never believed, but now because of human innovation, we are now at a stage where now internet is almost everywhere right now. You can access anything because of the bandwidth that is surrounding us. We are surrounded by a cloud of bandwidth. The same way we are surrounded with the cloud of bandwidth, I believe, I might not be a scientist, but I believe we are surrounded with a form of energy that is more powerful than AC or DC. We are surrounded by a form of energy that has been powering this universe ever since it was created. Have you ever wondered how the universe, how the earth rotates on its orbit? What kind of an energy is the earth using? It is because of our uneducatedness in the means of the creator of this world that has made us to go to these fossil fuels. But it is these fossil fuels that has caused what we are now classifying as climate change. Had we been aligned properly with the creator, I always say this, and I'll say this and I'll repeat this. The most intelligent book is the Bible. And the book that we can be able to look into to understand what happens around us. Anything small or great, any form of invention, I can tell you it's contained in that book. The moment we are aligned is the moment we are going to be ahead of the curve. Remember, the issue why I'm telling you and teaching you this is simply because you have to understand and hear me say these things to enlighten you so that you can be ahead of the curve. Look, we are talking about artificial intelligence. They are talking about they will shut down the electricity. What will happen when we get to the point whereby energy is now accessed without any electric cable? You just need to be in an atmosphere like this one for you to start receiving electricity, or for a gadget to start receiving electricity. And we have got an artificially intelligent being, digital being we have created. That is, got now access to the internet, which is within the bounds of bandwidth. Now we have access to power, its apparatus and modus operandi. We are heading somewhere. And the more people are digging deeper, is the more people are becoming closer to understand that the biggest scientist, the biggest innovator, the biggest inventor is Him, God, the Creator. It is climate change that is going to push scientists, engineers, and innovators to realize that there is another source of energy which is so clean to the point that we don't even need all these fossil energies. We are going to master the seas the same way we have mastered the air. You are going to realize that there's a time where it was not possible to have bandwidth when you're flying. Right now, because of the furtherance of technology and innovation, now you can start accessing internet in the sky. Now they're talking about being able to go and have, at least you pay 134,000 to 150,000 for you to go and be able to have lunch in the space. But if you want to look at it closely, you're going to realize that these things that we are calling innovations, these were the normal courses of God's intelligence. Look at how these our bodies are able to exist. A human being, according to me, is an engine. Some live up to the point of getting to 125 years. If you read the Bible, you realize that there are people who lived up to 900 years. What kind of an energy does this body has that keeps on making sure that the heartbeat is pumping? Every day you go to sleep, it doesn't stop. If you look at a heart, there are videos that you can go and search on the internet. You will see them trying to transplant a heart. You see the power that is contained in the heart. Where is that power? Where is that energy being generated from? I believe there is a core of the earth where we derive our intelligence, where we derive our inspiration, where we derive. I might not have tapped into the secrets of that core, but believe you me, I know there is a core where men align themselves strategically with the Creator and start to access a certain level of knowledge. Henceforth, there is always a complication and a misunderstanding between extreme scientists and people who believe in God. What they call God, according to them, is physics and science. There is more to this universe that if you are to study this universe, you are going to realize there is a form of energy which is clean to the point that we are going to regret why we put ourselves into these catastrophic moments that we have led ourselves into. Yet, according to us, it's progression of civilization. But it was us awakening from our form of being down and dumb, simply because there was a system created that padlocked us. What they are calling civilization, enlightenment, it is actually caused by the way we created our own syllabus as human beings. And the reason why I'm teaching you these things, some people might say this is too complex. Why? What is he talking about? Take time to listen, rewatch. You are going to realize that it is only people who reason like this who are going to be champions of the future that we are heading to. There is a lot of disaster coming. Every problem that you see today is a man-made problem. Had we been aligned properly, we were going to be people who would live longer than how we are living right now. But man has become so compromised mentally to the point that we are now doing a lot of experiments. Look at what's happening in the Western countries. Now they talk about sex change to people who are toddlers, kids who don't even know what they are saying or what they are doing. They are now given the right to change their gender. Men are becoming weak by day. And the most unfortunate thing, if you look at it, it's not about many girls transforming to become men. It's more men transforming to become women. And the moment we don't have strong people around us, the society is becoming weak. And listen, let me take it a little bit deeper and a little bit further. You hear institutions like the World Economic Forum talking about you are going to own nothing and life is going to be more happy. How are we going to own nothing? Look, because of what we have done with this artificial intelligence thing, I know it has got its own advantages. You can go and research about that, but I want to talk about this particular side. Humans, we are automatically going to become obscure, intellectual-wise. Because, listen, our brains, the way we have been tamed, when we were born, our brains were able to process things at a fast rate. And so they see kids. It's easy for a kid to relocate from here to Germany, and then within a very short space of days and weeks, they adapt to that language of that environment without any complications. The more you grow in age, the more difficult it becomes for you to learn new languages. Are you seeing that it's as if the more we are growing up, is the more we are becoming more complicated. We are no longer palatable to the environment that God gave us. And you see, because humans are going to try by all means to find a way to take charge of the space and replace the artificial intelligence that we have created as human beings. Look what's going to happen. These artificial intelligence, these robots, these ChatGPT, these softwares, these systems, they are connected to a database of knowledge. Agreed? So they are responding to our needs when we type. When I go to ChatGPT right now and I type, it's going into the servers of information that has been stored upon over time. And within 3 seconds, a split second, boom, that information is there. Boom, that information is there. I can ask it to write me an essay. That information automatically, boom, it's there. It's simply because the level of execution from the question of me typing on a keyboard and for it to get into the database, the level of speed is high. And according to the way we have been made dumb by the system we classify as education, we can no longer comprehend that speed, but that was our original speed before we were compromised by what we classify as knowledge. So this is what I feel in my own analysis and observing the world. This is what is going to happen. Look, we are having companies that are creating cars that can drive themselves, in as much as it's good because it saves us time. So a car is going to become autonomous. You don't have to waste time. You get into a car, you're going for a meeting. You get into a plane, you're going for a meeting. The same way they now have autopilot, auto cruise. Now cars, a Tesla can drive itself. More cars like that are coming. You're going to get to a point whereby you don't need any human being. It's now artificial intelligence. Look at how they've designed these navigators, Waze, Google Maps. You just enter a location and it can quickly get into the servers, get the information, boom, it's there. It now gives you a route to use. The car will be plugged into that database of knowledge. And you can see now Google Maps knows locations and geoposition more than human beings we do. So human beings already were now on a disadvantage, but it's good because it furthers, it makes our lives easy. Look, listen to me very carefully. Listen to me very carefully. I believe and I feel there is going to come in time and a moment, and I can tell you it has already started, and I'll prove my facts. Humans are also going to try to start competing with these artificially intelligent created beings, these digital things. And remember, Elon Musk has already launched an idea of putting implants and chips into a human brain. Listen very carefully. Listen very carefully. So I believe we are going to get to a point, humans, we are going to naturally accept that these things have outsmarted us. But now for us to be able to comprehend and compete and be able to outsmart, let's also now get into the database and access it the same way they access it. How do we do it? Let's implant chips into human beings. When chips are implanted into human beings, which means we also then become competent, the same fast speed when you're asked something. Some of you have watched movies. There's a movie called 47 where there was a robot that could do extremely things. It would recognize things. Some of you have watched movies like Lucy. Look at the level of speed after that drug was dissolved in her system, right? So it's going to become normal. It might be weird right now, but it will get to a point whereby we will normalize having chips in our system. And then our intellect, they will find a way of plugging our intellect to that database, that artificial intelligent type of way. And remember, these chips are codes that are riding on a software. We are going to get to a point where what Economic Forum is saying, there are a number of humans who control what's happening around the globe. We are going to get to a point whereby they will make it practically impossible for you to do banking, travel, if you are not palatable to the inventions that are coming. So you would need a chip in your head so that you can compete against a robot. So before you know it, you are now a human being with a chip, but that chip is run by a software, and that software, if they program it to behave in a certain way, you are no longer in charge and control of the system. We are going to get to moments whereby humans are going to long for a moment where they are just natural, normal human beings. A time like that is coming. And this is the reason why I'm saying, he who is ahead of his time in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you are better positioned for you to start creating a commune and a system that can protect a certain group or a certain niche of people, and you create wealth. If you hear me the way I'm talking right now, I'm a person who has gone past the point of being interested by making money. Now I'm looking at things that matter. When you grow in wisdom, understanding, you realize that there is more to success. There is more to this universe. I urge you, as you are listening to me, that in your journey of creating wealth, invest yourself in knowledge. What we used to classify or what we went to school to do, listen to me and I can bet. Scientifically, they can argue with me, but I can prove it. The information that we've been consuming over years has actually made us more backwards than what the Creator had actually prepared for us. And this is time for people who are listening to me. You today, you're listening to me. Take time to introspect. Look around yourself. The moment you start to see the world from this perspective, you can actually be able to strategically position yourself and be able to. You see, you are able to cheat the system in a way that they will not detect. There will be a glitch in the matrix. And when there is a glitch in the matrix, then you are excused. This is information that might not make sense to some of you who are watching it, but to those that are smart, patient, and intelligent, when they hear this kind of information, they shall know we are ahead of our time. This is something that I can tell you there is going to be a compromise in democracy because of artificial intelligence. Politicians are going to use these systems to rig and cheat elections. So much is coming for us. But to those that listen to me, to those that follow me, we are here to dissect this information. And I'll keep on coming and giving you information that will make you strategically positioned to be able to create something out of this future forward thinking that I'm trying to impart and indoctrinate into your people. It's not everything that you are given that you should believe. Always ask questions, poke holes into everything before you believe it. Listen to me. Poke holes into everything before you believe it. Whatever that you think is normal according to the system that has been feeding you information. We are living in days that are not normal. There is going to be a lot of financial crashes ahead of us. But people who are going to be smart enough, they are going to see opportunities strategically placed in those crises. Every crisis, if you're intelligent enough, wise enough, like this breed of people that I'm talking to, you are going to be on top of the situation as we go. You are going to be ahead of your time. It is this information that will make you more smarter. It is this information that will make you more qualified for the world that is being created by the 2%. If you don't access information like this, believe you me, people who have got information like myself will be in charge of you in the next few months to come, in the next few years to come. I can tell you, we are going to get into a moment, human beings are going to become useless. But at the same time, we will own nothing. Everything will be owned by people. So for you to have access to the house and the needs, the commodities that you need for your own survival, you have to be palatable to their own demands. If you're not palatable to them, you don't have access to it. That's where we are going. But people who are smart, like you who chose to watch this video, listen to me in this discourse of Top Club. You are going to be qualified, and more information is coming. I love you and I care for you. And as I'm concluding, let me tell you this. We are coming from the future, and we know what's coming. And it is this information that I shall keep on sharing, whereby you're going to get to start to realize that money is literally nothing. You can be able to know things and be able to align yourself, and you strategically position yourself to become a magnetic field that can only attract things of value. This is the information that we have to consume. This is the information that we have to deliberately. And I can tell you this information, if you are watching it, just know that you are lucky, because this kind of information can be prohibited, and this kind of information can be excommunicated on their platforms. I love you so much, and I want to wish you the best. And I can tell you, as long as you have listened to this and you're taking notes, you are destined for financial greatness. You are destined for emotional greatness. You are destined for unending happiness, because this information only makes sense to those that believe in the higher potential of human beings.